What's up, my people? ¿Qué pasa, mi gente? Welcome, bienvenidos to another episode, otro episodio de Hoy En Día TV. I am your host and producer, Yessie Rodriguez. And as you can see, I have the amazing Nadine Barn, entrepreneur, author, etc., actress. She does everything like I do. So, hey, that's why we vibe so well, because we are aligned. Yes. How you doing, my dear?
I'm doing well. How are you? Happy Thursday.
Yes. Happy Thursday. Woo woo. Yes, I am doing great. I can't complain. God is good, blessed, booked and busy, right? With a lot of things going on, I guess. With everything I have going on.
I love that word, booked and busy, honey, because I always want to be booked and busy.
Yeah. But then it's a good thing too, because it's like when you know you're a person that you're a valuable asset, like a lot of people are going to knock at your door, which is good, right? It's okay. Like I'm okay with people knocking at my door because I know what I have to offer, and that's a good feeling too, right? Like when people knock at your door and say, "Hey, yes, it can help," or they think about you. The first person they think about is like, "That's actually pretty dope." I mean, don't get me wrong; it can be a little exhausting, right? Because you try to be a superhero for everybody, and then it's like you're only one person. You got to remember that. But nevertheless, it's a blessing to do that. So.
Exactly, because you're always looking forward to doing something, so yeah.
Absolutely. Well, hey, so today it looks like it's just going to be you and I. Cece may or may not join us today, but it's A-okay because we have plenty to talk about. So as we know, it is April awareness, and there's a lot going on with regards to April and what it encompasses, right? So with that in mind, I don't know if you all remember from last week, April has a lot that it focuses on, but talking about a person that deals with a lot, April Awareness Month is actually Stress Awareness Month. So for a lot of people that don't know that, Stress Awareness Month actually happens to a lot of people, right? And so it's important. Stress in general happens to a lot of people. So it's good that we can highlight that today for the show. So keeping in mind that stress is not just mental, it shows up physically with fatigues, with headaches. You can see it in your weight changes. Now, there is a good thing between a good stress and a not so good stress, right? And so the good stress is called EU stress versus chronic stress. Now, it's important to make sure that people know that difference, because some good stresses can be like working out, right? You're working your body out and your body can feel stress, but it's a good stress because you're exercising your body and making sure that metabolically you're still good with everything working out. And so daily resets that you can consider if you're feeling overwhelmed or stressed is take 5 minutes to breathe, to kind of decompress, close your eyes. What I like to do when I feel really stressed too is listen to classical music. My favorite is Chopin number 5. Chopin. Let's see, just anything classical, especially with the violin too. With the violin,
I love classical. When I'm cleaning, I listen to classical. When you just want to relax and just, you don't want to hear that. I call it, yaga music.
What's yaga music? Enlighten me. What is that?
It's just my word I made up for like music, like, the dirty reggae or the rap or none of those music. That's what I just.
I got you. So that's more like the Jamaican reggae vibe.
I just call it. I want to listen to that yaga music.
I love it because it's really cool, Nadine, how reggae and reggaeton sound very similar, right? Because reggaeton derived from the reggae, right? And then they just added the extra oomph between adding extra beats that sound similar to like a merengue or salsa. So that's really neat. For reggae, it's pretty dope. I like reggae music. It's really like relax. You can kind of vibe to it too. So yeah.
I mean, there's the music nowadays I don't even know, child. I don't even listen to that yaga anymore.
Yeah, well, I just call it garbage. It's just garbage music. Like the music today, not reggae music. Reggae music's dope, but it's like the music that we hear today when they're rapping really fast and I have no clue what they're saying. And then when you do have a clue what they're saying and you listen to the words, it's like that doesn't even make any sense. Like what? ¿Qué tú dices? No te entiendo. I don't know what you're saying.
No comprende.
at all, at all. Talking about that, you had mentioned in one of our group chats this patois. You guys showing me some patois.
Oh yeah, I will.
Okay. Girl, so we start talking patois on Hoy En Día. People are gonna be like, "What are y'all saying?"
Like, yes, he's speaking patois. It is so cool. I was on set and the young lady there, she's Korean. She was teaching me Korean, and it was so dope. I just love to experience different cultures. So she was just sitting there and telling me and teaching me the enunciation, and I was just like reciting it to her, and she was like, very good, yeah.
And she speaks patois, or where does she
Oh,
speak?
Korean.
Korean. That is awesome. And you at one point were stationed in Korea, weren't you?
No, that was Japan, but I've visited Korea. I've been to Korea.
Gotcha. Okay, thanks for clarifying that. And I'm sure Japan. I want to go to Japan. Japan looks beautiful.
It is
Um,
beautiful. I think you should go during like cherry blossom season, like April, May, that time. It's beautiful. Beautiful.
is it? Oh, well, you're definitely going to have to go with me since you're very familiar because I don't want to be caught off guard, like not knowing where I'm going, what I'm doing. I'm like, okay, since you've done that, and I'm like, Nadine, let's book a trip here to Japan real quick and
Yeah,
check.
that would be so much fun.
We could have an Hoy En Día session out in Japan.
Right.
Yes. Okay, so quick question for you, Nadine. What's something that you used to tolerate that you no longer allow in order to help you with your peace?
Boundaries.
Ah, okay. I like that. So tell me more.
So, sometimes, family, friends, relationships, sometimes you have to, sometimes you give so much of yourself, you just have to draw the line with your boundaries, because sometimes if you don't, then it will just draw you back to a place where you don't want to be. So you just got to cut your boundaries.
I like that. I like that. And I agree with you. I've done the same for my peace as well.
Mhm.
With me, I'm the type of person being a water sign, and I've recognized this in myself that I give people too many chances. And I've realized that a lot of times they can step all over me. And so I told myself, I'm like, I'm getting older now. I have to protect my peace and similar to what you're saying and create boundaries. So what I do is I actually have like the last talk with them to say, hey, I'm going to slowly start pulling away, right? And this is why. Because I'm not one of those, how people just like cut you off and you have no clue what you did. And it's like, well, wait a second. Like, I'm not a mind reader. Talk to me. Like, we're adults. Let's talk, right?
And
With
then
me, but
right.
then if I talk and talk and talk and talk, and you're still doing the same thing, and I'm still talking, and we're not aligning, then it has to come a point after like the 100th conversation to say, hey,
That's insanity.
right. It's like, but with me, like I said, I tell people, I say, I respectfully, this is how I'm feeling. I'm not sure, this is not vibing anymore. So maybe it's best that I give you your space, you give me my space, and that way we can move separately, right? And I've done this with family, because it does get exhausting. It does
Right.
get exhausting, and you try to pour your heart and soul. But I'm not one of those that I'm going to leave you in the blind. I'm going to tell you because I want that to not only help me, but also help you, because that's how people learn and grow. Because again, we're not mind readers. What may
Exactly.
affect trigger one person may not be the same for you. And so it's always best to have a communication, even if it's closing the gap communication, so that people can understand the
Exactly.
why
Mhm.
of what you're feeling, right? So what are your thoughts about that?
Oh yeah, perfectly. You said it. You right, spot on. And another thing too, I'm not gonna argue with anybody because my block game is very strong. And just like you said, we're getting too old to be caught up in the shenanigans, the arguing, and the miscommunication. Like, we're adults. Let's talk about it. And if we don't have anything to say, then deuces.
That part.
You know what I
That
mean? So I'm not in this day and age. I don't have the bandwidth to be sitting and arguing with grown adults. So leave me alone. I'll just block you. I don't have time for the shenanigans.
I agree. And I've encountered individuals who misinterpret what you say or mean without wanting to clarify, right? So, for example, if I joke around and say something and then you interpret it a different way that I intended, you
Mhm.
know, as a true, healthy, respectful friendship, we should be like, hey, Yessie, or hey, Nadine, what did you mean by that? Versus like, why did you? Whoa, let's stop it right there. We
Exactly.
can respectfully have a conversation, we can respectfully clarify, because again, we're adults, we're not little kids.
Mm-hmm.
Not
I agree.
everyone has that intention to be negative or toxic towards you. Have you experienced that?
I have stories for days, honey. Stories for days. So it boils down to communication. Again, if you have your so-called friend, you're supposed to know the ins and outs about your relationship, your friendship, you know what I mean? And you should be able to talk about it. And if you're not able to talk about it, then why are we friends? I mean, we should be able to have like an open dialogue. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and how that correlates to our conversation that started with stress is because that can add unnecessary stress to people. So tying it all back in for the viewers and listeners, just a reminder that that can have a negative impact or negative stressor on your
Mhm.
life. And you just have to be mindful of that. So I love that you set boundaries. That's beautiful.
Right.
Awesome. So then next we're going to highlight Autism Acceptance Month, not just for the awareness piece, but more of acceptance and inclusion. So autism, as many know, is a spectrum, not just a one size fits all experience. And so the importance of representation is making sure that people are educated and informed of what that really means. So what's one way that we can be more inclusive in everyday spaces without even realizing it? Like, what would you say how we can be inclusive? Because even I've encountered adults where I can tell, like, oh, that person may be in the spectrum, and that's okay. Like, and you can pick it up on their personality, who they are, how they move, right? So, have you? What's one way that you feel we can move more inclusive in everyday spaces without even realizing it?
Um, you oh, there she is. I was just giving Cece the link. As far as that, as far as you talking about specifically about autism,
Yeah, autism, or in general, where as it relates.
like basically getting involved, knowing the different organizations or because I had a family member who was autistic, so that hit
Hmm.
near and dear to my heart as well. So I mean, but she wasn't in a facility. Family member was taking care of her
Okay,
until she passed.
I'm sorry to hear that. And so, what was it? Was it the person died because of old age, or it was just something that unfortunately
I think she just reached her time. She was like 32, and she was well taken care of.
32 is really young, though. I'm sorry to hear that. Oh gosh.
Mhm.
Oh gosh. And just a quick note, welcome CC to Hoy En Día TV. Yes, Dr.
Hey, Chica.
Hello, hello. We're excited to have you. We're highlighting April Awareness Month, and we just had a deep conversation about friendships and boundaries. And now we're talking about the Autism Acceptance Month and the spectrum. And so, for those who are not aware what autism actually is, so autism or autism spectrum disorder is a neurodevelopmental condition, and it affects how someone communicates, processes information, and experiences the world. It's a spectrum, so no two people are the same. And it's not something that there's a fix or cure for. That's just how the person is, right? So autism is not a limitation. It's a different way of experiencing the world. Everyone learns and processes information differently, right? So historically, there's a lot of messaging that's focused on finding a cure or viewing autism as something wrong, but that's no. Not many advocate for what we're doing today. We're advocating for respect, for inclusion, representation, and supporting individuals who are different. And that's okay. That's how God made them. And God made us all differently. We're all beautiful and amazing in our own unique ways, right? So people don't need to be changed to fit the world that we live in today. The world just needs to expand to include them because we're all different, like I just said. So, any thoughts with regards to what I just shared, either Cece or Nadine? Okay.
It's interesting that we talk about, the word inclusion a lot. And I think it's like a trending kind of word just for the era in which we're in. Because when you're unique, I love what you said, we are who we are and we don't have to change, right? To try to fit other people's narratives and those types of things. So I count myself as one of the ones being exclusive right? Just kind of being my own self, my own individual, my own identity, I should say. And not trying to conform. I know everybody wants people to be included, but I'm for, of not. A lot of times the big circles, with people and stuff like that. A lot of those people, it's like the blind leading the blind and everybody's falling into a ditch, right? And so those smaller circles, right, is like, the more niche, more, I'm not going to say authentic, but they are unique. And typically the smaller circles, those are the ones that are typically kind of ostracized and put out there and that kind of thing, because we are kind of drumming to our own beat and stuff like that. So the whole thing with like the inclusion, I'm not really on that whole bandwagon. I think people should be represented and seen. I think people more, they're needing to be seen and heard versus being included, because when you feel seen and when you feel heard, right, that just breaks barriers, right? And that also changes the people, how they see their own world, and seeing that, hey, okay, people hear me, they see me, they respect my decisions or whatever the case may be, even though it may be different. But I heard what you guys were talking a little bit earlier about autism and stuff like that. And for those people, that are autistic, just depending on, because I know you said there's a spectrum. I know we talked about this, I think, on a different show. Just knowing that spectrum of where people are at on that autism scale is huge. It's huge. And I think those are some of the most unique people there are. They fascinate me, the way that they see the world, the way that they think, and it teaches me stuff every day. Because I know some autistic people and have dealt with some autistic children and things of that nature. Even my son, my oldest, he's on the spectrum, but the way his mind works, right? The way he sees things, the way that he talks, I love it, because it's like, for me, it's genuine, it's real, it's exclusive, it's unique, and it just kind of opens up my mind's eye to help me to be able to see the world a little bit differently, in a way that I might not have seen it before, when I'm kind of on that bandwagon with everybody else, so to speak. So that's my little 2 cents, y'all.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. I appreciate that. And with that note, we're actually going to go on a quick sponsor break. And when we return, we're going to have way more to talk about. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with Hoy En Día TV.
At Cab Zenza, we believe beauty is a ritual, not just a routine. Rooted in intention and inspired by nature, our skincare is crafted to nourish more than just the skin. It nourishes the spirit. Every jar is made with purpose, because when you flourish inside, it shows on the outside. Cab Zenza's isn't skincare, soul care.
From the moment that I put this Cab Zenza on my skin, it feels most amazing. As you can see, it has your skin glistening, it's moisturizing. You too should get Cab Zenza.
Luxurious body butters.
A bold builder of people, purpose, and platforms, Girls with Gigs helps high performers and those desiring to achieve more shift mindsets and activate purpose. Whether it's career or leadership development, personal branding, or knowing your worth. In the job market, transformation has never been closer, because this is where purpose meets action and dreams become destiny. Book your free consultation today at www.girlswithgigs.com.
Are you looking for the perfect shirt for that special occasion? At Collective Custom Wear, we bring your vision to life. From weddings, family reunions, anniversaries, or casual outing with friends, express yourself with your unique style and leave a memorable mark. Order now. Our custom shirts are designed just for you.
Yes, as we know, we have custom shirts. So if you have a wedding, anniversary, birthday party, bridal party, etc., let's say corporate event, get your custom shirts made with Collective Custom Wear. Also, Cab Zenza, regardless if it's spring, summer, fall, winter, always hydrate your skin, because your skin is the largest organ in your body. So make sure to invest in Cab Zenza, and it also makes great gifts. So if you know somebody who's having a birthday, an anniversary, etc., even the holidays, even though December is like far away, it's wise to start, buying the gifts now, so you don't have to wait last minute. I'm just saying. Anywho, so invest in some Cab Zenza, right? Also, purpose. All of us are here on purpose, but what is your purpose? And if you don't know what your purpose is, reach out to Dr. CC, the actionist. She will get you aligned with your purpose. Yes. All right. Yes, lovely. So I have other things to say with regards to April awareness, but I want to give you all the spotlight to see what you want to talk about. Did you come across a post or a video or anything within what's happening in our world today? Nadine, let's start with you to see what you have, if anything.
So it didn't even dawn on me to even jot it down. I came across a lot of posts that I wanted to talk about, but right now I'm drawing a blank. So if it come back, I will bring it up.
Oh, it's okay. Yep, no problem. Cece, what about you?
Well, I just found out we had a well, it's fine this part, but we had a performance today with my son. That's why I'm a little bit late, y'all. And we like did the whole musical at school, this performance. It was so beautiful. And my kiddo, he was like in he was James Bond. So they were all dressed up, the kiddos and everything. They look so cute. They sing all these songs, and it was really amazing. And the thing is, like, I was supposed to be checking him to make sure that he knew the songs and all the stuff, but he wouldn't let me do anything. And I was like, I don't know if you know this music. I don't know if you're going to go out there and make yourself, embarrass yourself, or what. I need to see what you're doing. He wouldn't do it. He's like, no, it's a surprise. You're going to see me at performance day. And I was like, oh no. And I was so scared, but he knew all the words. He knew all the moves. He knew all his lines. It was totally amazing. So that was really, really wonderful. But when we were leaving, my husband had mentioned something about Hyundai, and I'm not sure if you guys know it or not, and he said he had a friend go in and purchase a car, but Hyundai is selling their cars at 0% interest for the life of the loan.
No, it's only one car.
It's one type of car that they're doing like that. And I was like, this can't be correct. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, how can they do that? Because if you're not charging interest and you're not making money. So then it made me to start thinking, and I was like, they mark those cars up anyway. So even when they sell you those cars, you know what I'm saying? They're already making some money, The interest is just, I guess, the icing on the cake. But go out, y'all, and check out Hyundai. You're getting that car. It's not all the cars, but it's one specific car. You can go out and get your 0% interest for the life of the loan of the car.
They should have you do a commercial for them, Cece.
I should, right?
Right. Yeah. So one of the topics, I think I did share it in the fruit, is about the gassed up bananas. I had no idea. Remember the gassed up bananas?
Yeah. Yep. I remember about that. And apparently they've been getting sprayed with some sort of toxic chemical.
Ethylene gas. So basically, the fruits are not, and the vegetables are not, growing and ripening regularly. So they're putting gas on it to do that.
What? So what's the big purpose? Like, are they literally just trying to kill us off? Is that what that is? Like, why? What?
It's just, I guess, to make money. It's not ripening fast enough. They're green. So by the time they put the gas on it, within 2 or 3 days, 1 or 2 days rather, it's ripe. By the time it hit the store, it's that banana on the shelf that's ripe. That's what we're buying, but it's all gassed up. The guy, it's in the group. When you get a chance, look at it. The guy showed the whole process, how he did it, how press the buttons to get in there, and then they injected something in the banana. It's crazy.
That is crazy. That's horrible. Gosh. And see, that's why it's important. I mean, I get it. We peel the banana peel, but still, I'm sure like whatever chemicals is going to seep inside or seep through the banana or the peel that we're peeling so we can eat the actual part of the banana that we consume. Like, that's not cool.
I wonder how long they've been doing that too.
I'm sure a long time. Nowadays we can't put anything past anybody. Like, that's just horrible.
You go to the ER. What did you eat today? Just a banana.
That part. That part. Oh, goodness. Yeah, that's interesting.
Speaking of bananas, I had one today. Oh my goodness.
But you didn't see Cece, you didn't look at the video posted in the group. You should have watched it before you buy that banana.
Oh my gosh. I heard that even with bananas aren't even like a real fruit. They're like a hybrid. Like they're not like, they said bananas were like extinct like years and years ago. So what we're calling that we're getting bananas now is not really even like a real banana. I don't know if you guys ever heard about that.
Wow. No, that's crazy. Wow. That is interesting. So Wow, yeah, that's interesting. Now, I did come across an interesting post, y'all. It says an artificial intelligence school with no traditional teachers is set to open in Chicago this fall, and it's called the Alpha School. So I did some more research because according to the post under Black Millionaires, which is it looks like it's a credible, it has a little check mark next to it, it's been verified, it's a credible source. But when I read that, it really caught my attention, especially as a parent. And I'm bringing this up because, Cece, I know you deal with kids, and even Nadine, I want to hear your perspective once I read this as well. So, an artificial intelligence powered school with no human teachers is set to open in Chicago this fall, signaling a bold shift in how education may be delivered in the future. Reported by Block Club Chicago, the school will rely heavily on AI systems to guide student learning, replacing traditional classroom instruction with adaptive, personalized technology. So instead of teachers leading lessons, students will interact with AI-driven platforms that adjust in real time to their pace, strengths, and weaknesses. The goal is to create a more individualized learning experience where each student follows a customized path rather than a one-size-fits-all curriculum. And its support staff will still be present, but their role would focus more on the supervision and the mentorship rather than the direct teaching. Now, this model reflects a growing trend in educational technology where artificial intelligence is being used to enhance on, in this case, replace traditional teaching methods. That's kind of concerning. Okay. Proponents argue that AI can provide more efficient and tailored instruction, while critics raise concerns about the lack of human interaction, emotional support, and the broader social development that teachers provide. As the Chicago School prepares to open, it will serve as a real-world test of whether AI can fully take on the role of educators. Its success or failure could have major implications for the future of schools across the country. So I did some more research just to get some more clarification on, is this true, right? And so based on my research, I used my handy dandy Alex. Shout out to Alex. Um, Alex did admit, he's like, this is partially true. So what I just read is partially true. So what Alex is saying here is there is a real concept behind this called the Alpha School, and versions of it already do exist, especially in places like Texas, which I had no idea. There are plans to expand into cities like Chicago, but there's a big but that he's bringing up here. It's not a school where zero adults or no human support, which is what we just read, right? And it's not robots teaching classrooms like the image suggests. So what the school actually is, these schools use AI as the primary instructional tool, but they still have human guides and mentors, like we just read, staff supporting students socially and emotionally, and adults overseeing the learning progress. So think of it more like an AI handles academics, human handles coaching, support, and life skills. And so how learning works, students spend about 2 hours a day on their AI-powered platforms. The AI adapts in real time to their level based on where they're at. Personalized learning approach. The rest of the day is focused on the projects, on life skills, public speaking, entrepreneurship. So it's actually trying to flip the model of less lecture and more personalized and real world learning. So why people are reacting strongly is because the headline makes it sound like teachers are just being kicked off, replaced. Kids are being taught by robots, but in reality, it's more like they're redefining the teacher role, not removing it. Still very experimental and not widely proven for long-term learning. So this is a process of still trial and error. So the big debate is around, there's a pros and cons here. So the pros is highly personalized learning, faster progress for students, more time for real world skills. Cons or concerns are less human interactions in academics, over reliance on technology, equity and accessibility issues, and in long-term development impact. So also Alex shares his honest take is this is one of those future of education experiments, it's not standard yet because it's being tested here, right? So what are your thoughts about that? I read a mouthful, and as a parent, I do have some like, what's happening here type of thing, but yeah, there's a lot going on.
I knew when they came up with that iRobot movie is going to be real because iRobot is here. Because they said that they started rolling that out in 2014 in Austin, Texas.
Really? So that's where the Texas one came out. Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah. And the tuition cost is 55,000 a year.
55,000. Oh my Jesus! To get taught by a robot? Okay, I got you.
And they're rolling it out to New York and California before coming to Chicago.
You know, this is very interesting because when you look at those states, New York, California, Chicago, these are a lot of states that are struggling financially with cash flow, right? And so in theory, concept, yeah, okay. All right, we're trying to do whatever to help our children, but I don't believe that that's a help to the children. I believe that AI should be used as a supplemental avenue with standard our current education that we have. Can our education be better? Absolutely. The better education typically a lot of times is in those private institutions where things are tailored to your student. And then, with the money issue, you know what I'm saying? Teachers are quitting left and right. And so I guess, maybe that might be something too, that they're trying to fill in the gap because teachers are, they're quitting because they're not getting paid enough. Their profession is respected, but I don't believe that it's respected enough because by the price tag that they put on it, right? And then two, just to credit, teachers work very, very hard, extremely hard in educating our children. And they have to deal with all types of behaviors, all types of personalities. And then on top of that, they're not just dealing with the child, but they're dealing with the parent as well, or the caregiver, or, whomever, right? So this whole AI thing, I think that's going to really hurt children. And the reason why I say, and I know it's going to hurt children, my husband and I was discussing this, is because, when COVID happened and everybody was, forced to, well, almost everybody was forced to wear the mask because we didn't wear the mask. I was like, nope. But anyway, little ones, right? The little kiddos, with speech development, right? When children are learning language, even like with babies and stuff, they watch your mouth, right? How your lips form, how you're pronouncing, and all of these things, and enunciating different types of things. And so that was like a detriment, even to like the little pre-K kiddos and also the kindergartners and stuff like that, right? Like these young kiddos, pre-K, that's developing their language. And so, and it's impersonal as well. You need that social interaction because there's studies now, right, in the literature, because, COVID did happen. And now studies are now, articles are being published about this, where it was detrimental to the socialization of children, where it was detrimental to the speech pathology of a child and things of that nature. So, I can commend them and say, hey, give you a hand clap on, what they're trying to do, but I don't think that this is beneficial for any human. Human beings were made to be with human beings, not with computers, right? We're to use these other tools and resources and devices as a tool, as a supplemental, right? Not to be the primary, right? It should be tertiary, even, I believe, with these types of things. So, with states, pushing out this whole thing, I believe they really need to look at where is the money going, right? A reallocation of it, right? Redistributing these types of things, because a lot of the funds are misappropriated and it's not going to the right things in which it's supposed to go to. We know that. That's all across the globe. Look at our look at our whole deficit, right? So that's a clear indication that we don't know how to manage money, right? So that kind of thing. So that's my 2 cents on it. Like, I'm not against it, but I'm not completely for it being like the main source of primary to be able to teach our children. And then think about like the screen time now that parents are having issues with their children being on all the screen time. So now you're going to have that in their school for 7 hours a day. Like, that's a lot. That's a whole lot. And then even like with your brain development and things of that nature, right? There's studies out there, right, that shows all of these things. So like I said, I think in theory, a good idea. As a supplemental, aid, absolutely. But as a primary, absolutely not.
So you mean to tell me that they're already not paying teachers enough money, and now you're ripping that away from them? They're not going to be getting paid anything, so they're not going to have a job. They're going to have to look elsewhere, you know what I mean? So, and then like you said, where's the money going? Because if you're charging, is that for each student, $55,000 for tuition?
Oh, I'm certain that's for each student, because even now it's stuff, butts and seats, as we call it. Children are all a paycheck to the public educational systems. So I can almost guarantee that's $55,000 per child.
Excuse me. So is this going to be in the public school, or is it just private school, or all the schools?
You're talking about for the robots, for the AI robots we're talking about. So it sounds like, so from what I've read, it's right now it's in the infancy stage where certain areas are adapting to it. So like hence Austin, Texas, like you shared earlier, they implemented that in 2014. And then Chicago is also starting to implement that with the Alpha School I shared with you. So different states, it looks like certain programs pertaining to AI is starting to kind of adapt, but it's still very early. So they don't know really, they don't have data to prove like an AI can be more effective as a teacher, so to speak, than actual human. They're still developing that data based on the research that I gathered.
So if it's already on the internet, guess what? It's coming.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, absolutely. But CC made some great points. I do agree that it should be shifted where there's still that human interaction. There's still the teacher leading the class. And then for those who need extra support, okay, you can have one-on-one time or 2 or 3-on-1 time with the AI robot, because the AI robot is, the mind's like, so they should be able to help you in speedy finger, just snap of a finger. You should be able to get the support you need. But I agree, there still should be human interaction. There still should be that emotional support from a human leading the classroom and not a robot. So, no. Ooh, that's interesting. As a parent, it's like, wow. And that's why I'm deciding to homeschool, because there's just a lot of shenanigans that just boggles my brain. I'm just like, I don't understand. But hey, who am I, right?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, homeschooling would be great.
It's going to be interesting to see how it's done, how it's actually done.
And then, my other concern with the AI is, emotional support. Like, it can't really read a child. Like if the child is having a bad day and they're just on this computer doing this AI, how can there's no emotional intelligence. This is a computer, right? So I can see a kid come in a classroom and can see them and see their shoulders are kind of slumped and their head is kind of down. I know something's going on. It's going to trigger me to ask questions. This AI can't do that. You know what I'm saying? The kid could be feeling sick or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are the parameters that are in play? I mean, there's so many questions that I have, because if I have a kiddo in my class and their head is on the desk, I'm like, hey, are you okay? Do you feel okay? How is AI going to be able to assess that? There's so many, there's so many components to this.
Yeah.
iRobot, I'm telling you, iRobot.
Well, hey, we will definitely revisit this topic, I'm sure, either this year or again in 2027 as it evolves, because I agree with Nadine, it's here and it's not going anywhere. I mean, we already seen it in Texas and Chicago, and I'm sure other states are going to slowly start adapting to that. So, yes. Well, let's shift the narrative a little bit. Let's highlight some heroes here. So, everyday heroes, we have a Michigan tornado shelters. So, during a sudden and dangerous tornado outbreak in Michigan, people nearby had very little time to react because, as we know, tornadoes move fast, right? And like fast. I don't know if you all ever seen, well, I'm sure y'all seen like the movies Twister and all that. So it kind of gives you firsthand experience of how that looks. I hope nobody here has experienced that, because from what I hear from people that have experienced tornadoes, it's scary and catastrophic, similar to hurricanes, right? So a restaurant worker stepped up immediately when the warning hit. And so instead of panicking or focusing on only themselves, they quickly recognized the danger, opened access to a safe shelter area. And so what those are considered is whether it be a basement or a reinforced space that has no windows and it is shut. And then guiding dozens of people inside, not just customers that were there, but anybody who needed help. And so in total, this individual helped 50 people who were brought to safety. Now, why is this a big deal? Was because this wasn't about helping out. This was a life-saving event. You saved 50 people from a catastrophic situation. So typically what happens in moments like that, most people tend to freeze. The communication gets chaotic. They get frazzled and start yelling and screaming. Fear, confusion, right? But this person said, no, I'm going to not do that. I'm going to take control. And so he did, calmly, made fast, smart decisions, and then was able to help others along the way. And so what happened next? So everybody who sheltered, thankfully, survived. And after the storm, people were able to reunite with loved ones. Emergency crews can focus on the damage instead of the casualties. And then, as a reminder, the story is being spread today, and it has spread around many areas to highlight this individual here. And I'm trying to get the name of this person because I feel like that's definitely worth acknowledging. So, what are your thoughts about that?
I mean, that's amazing to not panic during that situation because, a tornado could lift you up in 2.3 seconds and throw you into the next state.
Right, right.
Yeah, I'm really proud of this person. It takes a lot to stay calm in situations like that. Quickly mass casualties will begin to present themselves from these catastrophic storms and things of that nature. So the fact that he was able to remain calm, had his wits about himself and to be able to help people, that's really great. In the military, we're trained, and even like firefighters too, where our emergency response personnel, they're trained, to try to stay calm in situations like this. And sometimes it's very difficult, especially like, because everybody is different, right? Everybody is different. And it's hard to stay calm in some of those situations. You just don't really know how it's going to pan out. You tell yourself and you train and you're like, yeah, I'm going to make it happen. But when it happens, you know what I'm saying? That's always a different story. So I take my hat off to this person. Say bravo Zulu, because, for a job well done and able to save lives of humans and not be afraid. That shows courage, right? The only time courage can really happen is when you are in the face of, fear, you know what I'm saying? And stepping up in situations like this, because a lot of people, and people do, they run from situations like this, and everybody's kind of looking out for them on their own selves. So just to see this guy's heart and to see that he was a servant leader, in this, he really demonstrated servant leadership characteristics and things of that nature. So I'm proud to hear this happy, heroic, story. I hate that the storm happened, but just to see that somebody stepped up, that's always good.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Even if you're not trained, you don't know how you're going to act in an emergency situation.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. And so just for clarification, because I misspoke, I assumed it was a male, but it was actually a female. So hey,
even better.
Right.
So shout out to Aubrey McKenzie. She is a restaurant manager at Applebee's in Three Rivers, Michigan. And this actually happened March 6th. So a month and 2 days ago, this happened in Three Rivers, Michigan. And she became the hero during a sudden EF2 tornado. And so that's when she quickly recognized the danger. She helped the 50 people. Like, that's impressive. And this tornado had winds up to 130 miles an hour. So a lot of buildings were damaged, destroyed. But because of her heroic efforts, not a single person that she helped was hurt. She did the right thing. Like, that's amazing. So shout out to Aubrey. Yes. Great work. Also, I'm going to highlight another hero, but this hero, unfortunately, didn't have the best ending, right? And you all may have heard of this. The hero dad, Ryan Jennings, was what happened during a recent family vacation in Florida. So Ryan was at the beach with his kids when suddenly two of his children got caught in a rip current, which is extremely dangerous and can pull you out fast. I pray that no one ever gets caught in rip currents because they look dangerous and they sound very dangerous too. So without hesitation, he jumped in to save them. And this is where it becomes heroic, but also tragic, because he was able to push his 12-year-old son into safety. So push him enough so where he's able to get back on land. He held his 9-year-old daughter above the water, keeping her alive until help arrived. But in doing so, he used up all of his strength that unfortunately got the best of him. So he was found unconscious. He was pronounced dead. Thankfully, his kids survived, but that's tragic. Like, even hearing that. Wow. And then it looks like his wife was on the beach watching. She's also pregnant with their 4th child. So this is tough. What are your thoughts about that?
That's I don't even know what to say. It's heroic, and at the same time it's painful too, but at least he saved his children before that happened. And for her, his wife to be pregnant too, I can't imagine how she's feeling.
Right. Yeah.
So that's heartbreaking. Can you imagine you saving your children or saving somebody else? And
I know that's when I read this, it got the best of me because I'm just thinking like, these poor kids are not going to grow up with their father, right? And now, and especially the fourth child, not even ever knowing who their dad is because of this tragic situation. And yes, it was a heroic situation because two of the kids were able to be saved. But it's like, wow, like that's tough. But I will say this, as a parent, it's one of those things like being mindful too. And I wasn't there, so I don't know. I'm just speaking from when I go to the beach with my son. I'm mindful. I look at the waves and the currents to say, hey, do I want my son to get in here? Because this looks dangerous. Like I already have my red flags popping up and the alerts knowing like, is this a good time for him to get in the water? And so I'm wondering why this didn't happen on that day, right? Why the kids were still allowed to go in the water, or did it just happen unexpectedly? That's still a question mark that I have in my head there.
So did he drown, or you said he was exhausted from, everything he was doing? So how did he die?
So from what is being described here is he was holding his daughter up, but with the rip current, he's trying to use up his energy, holding her up, still, I'm sure, ingesting water. So by the time help finally came, his daughter was good, but he was exhausted from like trying to manage being in the water, holding her up. Like it's from what I'm reading here, this was just a lot going on here. So
wow.
So yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, it's just one of those things. Whew. Cece, did you have any thoughts about that before we shift topics?
I have another question. How do you know if there's like a rip current in the water? How can you detect that? So that's the dangerous things about that. I mean, you don't know.
So with rip currents, from what I know, and let me make sure, like they're the waves. Like when you go to the beach or you see the waves kind of splashing up really high. That is what I've been told is a rip current. But when they happen, there's a good question. So let me do some research here.
Fast moving.
And one thing I do know about the zip ties, those rip ties, is like you don't try to swim against it. Like you just kind of go, because you're gonna get tired out, right? Because it's so strong, and the forceps is gonna be pulling you. So they just say try to kind of just roll with it until you can kind of come out of it. But yeah, definitely pull it up there, sis, and see.
And you know what? We actually saw some rip currents when we went to the beach recently, Cece. So apparently they're the waves that you look at and they look calm. But if you go walk in there far enough, it's going to drag you in.
So it's like there's a narrow path. From what I'm seeing, there's a narrow path in between the waves. I don't know if you could see that on my phone, but it's like a narrow path in between the waves. You see that?
I can't really see. Let me see.
Like when you click on rip current and look at the photos, you see there's like a narrow passage in between the waves.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
the wave is right there on both sides, and then there's just like no wave in between, but just like a straight plain line of the water.
Yeah, so it says that rip currents can look subtle, but once you know what to look for, they become much easier to spot. So a rip current is a fast, narrow channel of water moving away from the shore, and it can pull even strong swimmers out into deeper water in seconds. That's how strong they are. So look for these warning signs here. So anybody at the beach, it's getting warmer. People are getting excited to go to the beach, and this is very helpful. And although we're spotlighting a hero who had a tragic ending, this is also for you all, viewers and listeners, to help save you and your families, because this is important information. And I'm glad you asked that question, Nadine, about what is a rip current. So it's a calm looking gap in waves. So the waves are breaking on both sides, but there is a flat or darker channel in between. And it looks safer, but is actually the most dangerous part. So water that looks darker is often deeper water. You might see it murky or brownish in color because that's sand being pulled out. So foam or debris is moving out to sea. So you can watch the direction of where the water, when it's like foam and debris being pushed into the water, then that's a rip current. If foam, seaweed, or bubbles are flowing straight away from shore, that's the big red flag there. Also, they could be choppy or rippled surface. So water that looks uneven or boiling compared to surrounding waves. So when are rip currents most likely? During rough surf or high waves, after storms or strong winds, and near piers, jetties, or sandbars. The most important part for you all to remember, do not fight it by swimming straight back to shore, right? Do not fight the rip current. Stay calm. And I know it's one of those situations where you're like, oh gosh, I'm trying to swim because water's all over. And I get it. It's easier said than done, but stay strong or calm, float or tread in the water. So when you are in the water, it's best to float up so that you are getting oxygen and you're floating, and kind of let the current kind of take you, but you're still floating. And swim parallel to the shore until you're out of the current. Then angle back in. Also, hopefully at that point, you're not going by yourself out to swim, because I highly discourage that. Always go to the water with a buddy. So that way you are looking after each other. If, heaven forbid, you all were to ever find yourselves in that situation, at least you have someone there with you that's helping you and watching you, right? To say, if you're out there somewhere, somebody can call 911 real quick and then help can come. But while you are out there, if this were to ever happen to you, remember to float. Do your best to float, swim parallel to the shore until you're out of the current, then angle back in. So yes, I shared a lot. What do y'all thought about that?
Yeah, those are interesting facts, and for people to, like you said, summer is coming. So, I mean, those are important gestures for people to take heed to, and especially going to the beach nowadays. And I watched the video with a news anchor or somebody from one of the news channel, and he went into the rip current to show people how to get out of it. That's dangerous. Why would you do that?
Well, he probably did that because he knew he was going to have support there. Like somebody's easily going to go in and.
But yeah, of course the cameras were there watching him, and but I wouldn't take that risk. I mean,
I know that sounds dangerous, but I will say this: I'm glad you spotlighted that, because that's a good research for people to do, right? For people to find that video or videos that are similar to get a visual feel for how they can escape a rip current. Because it can happen to anyone.
Yeah, that's exactly what you highlighted. They basically want to show people how to identify it and how to get out of it if they're caught in it.
Right. That's good. I'm glad you shared that resource. So hopefully people will go and Google videos on how to safely escape rip currents. See, I saw
panic too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great information. And I think a lot of times people get caught up. They don't even realize they're in it until they're in it, until it's too late, because I've been like on the beach, and, you can feel yourself kind of being taken out. I've had that happen to me. I'm like, wait a minute, did I just go a little bit further out into the water? And I'm like, what's happening right now? So I'm like, oh no, so you definitely got to be paying attention to those types of things. That's very, very scary.
That is scary. Have you all ever found yourselves, like I've noticed sometimes when I'm sitting in the sand and all of a sudden my butt is going deeper and deeper and deeper, and all of a sudden I'm like, I have a little chair in the sand now, and that's because that rip current is pulling that sand away, and I'm not even realizing, but because I'm far out, I'm not all the way in, it's not dragging me in there.
What if it was like a quicksand? That's another important thing to learn too. Quicksand.
That, you know what? Let's talk about that next week. I think that's a really good conversation for next week.
Child, too much.
I know.
Nature trying to take you away.
Yeah, I have had that happen to me. Yes, the very exact thing that you described, that happened to me. And I was like, wait a minute. Before you know it, it's like, oh my goodness. Yeah.
I know. That you when you rinsed off, you see all the sand in your undies, and it's like, well, what happened here? Oh goodness. All right, lovelies. We've had some amazing, juicy conversations like we do every week, and we're approaching our end of words. So this is an opportunity for us to remind people who we are, what we do, where they can find us, listen to us, follow us, and anything that comes to your heart. So Nadine, lead us off, followed by Cece, and I'll close out with the remaining sponsors.
Yes, Nadine Barton here, Nadine the author. If you'd like to get some of my books, go to www.nadinebarton.com and follow me on Instagram, NadiaB_1202, NADIAB_1202. And like I always say, life is 10% of what happened to you and 90% of how you react. So always be kind to people.
I love that. And I'm always striving every day to be kind. So I'm your girl, Sandra, the Actions with Inspire for Purpose and Girls with Gig. You can find me at either of those. Just put the .com at the end and you'll be able to pull me up there. As I like to say, remember, nothing positive ever came from negative thinking. So be sure to renew your minds each and every day. It is imperative that we do that, right? Because sometimes we can get stuck in those negative mindsets, and that's going to bring about negative consequences and actions in your life. So make sure, as always, love and light and inspire for purpose.
Absolutely. You all, thank you for being amazing viewers, listeners, and don't go anywhere because we have a few more sponsor videos. So we'll be right back with Hoy En Día TV.
Dream, explore, discover with Nadine's Travel Oasis. Your next adventure is just a booking away. From breathtaking beaches to vibrant cityscapes, we handle the details so you can make the memories. Luxury, leisure, or last-minute getaways, we've got you covered. Book today and let Nadine's Travel Oasis take you places.
Sponsored by Collective Wear. Available at www.yessierodriguez.com/shop and myrod-enterprise.com/shop.
Sponsored by Divine Beauty and Accessories. Watch Hoy En Día TV, Thursdays, 7:30 p.m.
Yes, thank you to our sponsors. We have Collective Wear, also Divine Beauty and Accessories, and Nadine's Travel Oasis. Looks like TSA is back in action. They're working again. Yay. So travel should be safe for you all. So make sure to book those trips today. Wherever your destination is, Nadine's Travel Oasis will get you right. Yes. Also, big thank you for supporting us here visually on Facebook, Instagram, all of our different channels, whether it be Spotify, Amazon Music, Samsung Music, the whole list. For those who want to know what that list is, just go on my website, yessierodriguez.com. On the upper left-hand side, you're going to see the drop-down that says Hoy En Día TV. And once you click on that, you're going to see everywhere that you can listen to us. So listen to us in the gym, during the walk, if you're riding your bike, if you are cleaning the house, wherever, you can listen to our lovely voices because we are here to motivate, enlighten, inspire, educate, and entertain you all, the viewer and listener, each and every week. Cada semana estamos aquí. And so if you want to be a guest on Hoy En Día TV, simply email hoyendiatv@gmail.com. hoyendiatv@gmail.com. It is scrolling at the bottom of the page view here. Also, if you want to be a sponsor or donate to Hoy En Día, you're welcome to do so. And just go on hoyendiatv@gmail.com and I can give you those instructions on how to do so. So thank you all. And for those who want to find me and follow me or just check who Yessie Rodriguez is, just go on Google, type in YESSE Rodriguez. It'll pull up who I am, what I'm about. And yeah, that's pretty much my spiel. So the sky is never the limit because the galaxies are endless. That's how I usually like to end the show. Until next time, hasta pronto. See y'all soon.